Okay, we did that, we're here now, let's take a look. Now we're good. Yeah, we're gonna show it, clinging.
Okay.
Yeah, it's time to show the clinging. I've talked to you long enough. Remember I mentioned some of these training films they have set up for you, so you can look into them and become more aware and more conscious of things. Let me show you one of them here. This is a YouTube-y thing. Looked pretty good when I looked at it.
Welcome aboard. Thanks a lot. Good to meet you. See you around. Hey, Greg. How you doing, man? And then you meet Bruce? Hi. Everyone. I'm Ben. Better be careful. I think he was tight.
He was tight.
Listen, I'll see you later, okay? All right. Do this.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Sheila. Sheila. Hi, I'm glad I got you. Listen, I wanted to talk to you because I need next Wednesday off. I see you're not scheduled, so could you fill in for me?
Wednesday.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, I've got plans.
Plans on a Wednesday night? Oh, you have a hot date or what?
No, actually, it's my Bible study every Wednesday night.
Bible study? Are you kidding me? Oh, are you one of those born-agains or what? Come on. Can't you just blow it off for a night? Help me out.
Sorry, Bill. Maybe another time.
Hey, what about the company value of flexibility? Don't you Bible thumpers believe in that? What about doing to others? What about that, huh?
Hey, how's it going?
Fine.
Yeah. You read the comics? You break.
Yeah.
What, are you in break? Wait, hey, how are things going with that new baby?
It's going okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we aren't getting a lot of sleep, but
Oh.
we're doing fine.
If there's anything else you're not getting.
You just give me a call. Beats me. I don't know anything about it. Hey, maybe we should ask Bonnie. Bonnie! Hey, Bonnie!
Keep it up. She's half deaf. She won't hear you unless you walk right up to her, even with that hearing aid.
Really?
Sure. Watch this. Bonnie, what us about the procedure that at the meeting?
Excuse me?
We were wondering if you could tell us anything about that new procedure they were talking about at the meeting. Bruce and I don't know anything about it.
It's pretty funny, wasn't it?
What are you doing this weekend, man?
Hey. What about me? See.
Well, this is all we have right now. We're still working on it, but, you know, just feel free to ask questions at the meeting if you have any.
I have a question. Are you free later?
Joe.
Hey, try. Let's go, Greg. Great God, I'd love to get her in the sack. So you know, I heard she's an info. Really? From who? Town Law. Fury. Wow. So she's not Miss Innocent. Well, sleazy and easy. I like it that way.
I don't know what's the matter with you lately. You're late half the time, and you're in a fog the other half. Your attitude has really taken a nosedive, and if you don't do something about it soon, I will.
Couldn't help it over here. Rough break.
No big surprise. She's been on my case for weeks. And she's right, I have been late. But this second job is wearing me out.
Have you tried talking with her?
You heard her. Does it sound like there's room for discussion?
Well, if there's anything at all I can do, just let me know.
Thanks a lot.
Something else, isn't it? 5 or 6 vignettes. And they all have something in common. Here's what they have in common. Every one of those vignettes can be classified into 2 categories, because the whole genre of sexual harassment can be divided into 2 basic types. You have a thing called quid pro quo. That's Latin, by the way. Y'all get that? Quid pro quo. How many studied Latin? A couple of folks. I studied Latin when I was an undergraduate. I have a tattoo in Latin right there on that arm. See that? You should never let a classical education go to waste. That's the extent of my Latin, except of course for quid pro quo. Quid pro quo and hostile environment, everything falls into those 2 categories. Let's see what they say. Quid pro quo simply means this for that. Quid this, pro for, and quid that. This for that. Tit for tat. Remember that old phrase? Sort of back and forth. I'll give you a raise if you go out with me. Do this, you do that. That sentence alone constitutes sexual harassment right there. It violates federal and state laws. It violates policies within this institution. One little sentence blows you out. How about the instructor says to the student, I'll raise your grade if you give me a little. Yes. I'm amazed that goes on. I think it's horrible. My wife also has the office next to mine at Auburn. Ain't nothing going on in my classes. I'm there on D. No. Apparently it goes on in other places. There's another one. I need you to take a trip with me. I need you to take care of me. We got a conference going on. I'm going to be presenting at the conference. I'd like you to go along, and we'll let you turn the slides. Tell you what makes a difference. I spent a lot of time in the Middle East. Later on this week, I'm going up to meet at the Saudi Arabian embassy, and I'm going into Saudi Arabia April 10th. Not a good time to be going in there, but I'm going. I have a Saudi student, female, who I've asked to accompany the delegation and serve as an interpreter. She has consented. I am also bringing her husband on the trip because he has no function other than being there while his wife travels. Clever, huh? And it's worth paying the difference to bring this, he's a nice guy, I've known the guy for a couple of years. It's worth bringing him along just to free up this young lady to do some interpreting and other kinds of things. You've got to know the playing field before you can play the game. In the first place, Saudi culture is not going to let me take off with some Saudi wife. Woohoo! They take a dim view of that. Particularly right now is not a good time to do that. You ever hear of the shopping square in Riyadh? Anybody ever heard of that? King Faisal had a castle there in Riyadh. That's the capital of Saudi Arabia. It's an old building that's now turned into a museum. Next to that's a wide open square, beautifully paved. And next to that is a big mosque. And every now and then, the people gather around that square and they bring in some fellow who's guilty of something and they cut his head off. Scary, isn't it? Walked across that square many, many times. Never been there for a beheading. Homie, don't play that. But they tell me that when they do that, that they'll bring the foreigners up front so they get a better view. Isn't that nice? They're kind of foreigners. Just want you to know that. These kinds of things are quid pro quo forms of harassment. Now, the hostile environment. This is the one that gets us in education, by the way. Not so much the quid, but the hostile environment. Got a little definition with it? All you got to do is intimidate or offend. Now, the bad part about that is, I can say something that offends you, but doesn't offend her. Am I guilty? The answer is yes. I got no business offending anybody. Rules have changed. The kind of stories we used to think that were funny based on gender, ethnicity, and race, they're not funny now. They're just not funny. They've got to be taken out of our vocabulary. The terms we use, girl, hunk, doll, babe, honey, those are old terms. They got other ones now. You know, terms like chica, that's Spanish. Oye, chica. Going fast. No business talking to a woman like that. On multiple reasons. One, my wife is Hispanic and she doesn't like that if I talk to another woman like that. No. Anyway, if you're in a general conversation, you turn it into something sexual. Bad idea. That creates that hostile environment. This is what gets you in court, gang. This is what gets you into job loss. Severe reprimand. That's a little thing you talked about. How about if you start hitting on somebody and they're not interested? By the way, this applies to females too. It's not just that old, what is it, Sadie Hawkins? Remember Sadie Hawkins? We can talk about Sadie Hawkins anymore. Some of you are going to have to Google that now, aren't you? I wonder what Sadie Hawkins was. Checking out a person, elevator eyes. Woo, mama, you are looking good. Going around the room, checking things out. Gotcha. Behavior inappropriate. Giving gifts of a sexual. You know they got gifts of a sexual nature. You know that? I never got one. Don't get the idea I want to start now either. Y'all keep them. I don't want that. Hostile environment doesn't take much, and there is a higher standard in education than there is in the workforce. The reason we are held to a higher standard in education is because by virtue of our positions, we have power over people. We can determine if they're going to graduate or not. That little girl didn't treat me very good. She's a C. She treated me real bad. She's an F. And I'll just destroy her career goals in cosmetology or nursing or her opportunity to go to a 4-year college after she finishes 2 years here. That's power. You can mess up a person's entire lifetime as a teacher. Or you can have a pretty worthwhile undertaking where they can benefit from your skill, from your ability. We are held to a higher standard. You might be able to get away with it in the workplace, but not in the school system because of that vested power. Here's what we want. What do they look like? By the way, you'll hear people use the phrase harassment. I learned as harassment. What y'all learned as? Harassment or harassment? Harassment. Thank you. I'm not good at politically correct. That'll be another presentation. I don't mind saying harassment. Powerful word. Could be male, could be female. Could are typically older. So you young guys, relax. But you older guys, we're watching you. Because you are older, you are male. And then if you're co-workers, y'all work at the same place. Aha! Which means you are not likely to leave here and harass somebody at Walmart, but there's a good chance you'll harass somebody here if you're going to be a harassing older male. The biggest thing is a history. Very, very rarely is sexual harassment a one-time event. It just doesn't happen that much. Right here. If I'm called in to investigate a charge of sexual harassment in preparation to go to court, one of the things I will do is I'll go to every co-worker. Let's say you brought the charge up. I want to meet with every one of your co-workers all the way around as far as I can get in a confidential closed meeting to find out if they have been harassed or if they have witnessed it, because it's a sequential operation, guys. People who harass don't just take one shot at it and say, that's it, I'm done. It worked for her, it'll work for her, it'll work for her. I'm cool, I am king, I can do what I want. It's the power thing. So we actually look for contributory violations. And once you've got that laid out, your book is set. You've got them lined up. That's how you get them. You don't get them on one of them. Most frequently supported is the harassment of the subordinate. It's not a peer support. We tend not to turn our peers in. He's a supervisor, or she's a supervisor, I'm a supervisor, well, I'll just tell them to stop it, that'll be it. But it's that subordinate employee. They're vulnerable. You got somebody, y'all have a trial period when you come to work, don't you? Support staff, you come in under a trial period or they hire you straight out? How long is your break-in period, or what do you want to call it? How long? 90 days? You got 90 days, right? You come to work for 90 days, you're kind of, what do they call that? What is it?
Probation.
Probation, yay, probation.
3 years for that.
Her throat died or something back here, she's a making. I do this too. That's in Spanish. Get it? All right. Bottom line is, you're under probation. Guess what? You are readily targetable. Readily targetable. Because you go along to get your job. First of all, you're coming in at low wages. Hello, state. Really? But that low wage is better than no wage at all. And if you're under probation, it don't take a whole lot to throw you out. So if I am supervising probationary female employees, remember I got the power, they got no places. So we watch that almost like a protected group. If you are a senior supervisor, you keep an eye on your probationary employees, male and female, to ensure they're being treated properly in a workplace. Because you know they're a vulnerable population. How about same-sex harassment? Is that possible? Of course it is. It's on the rise. You read the newspapers or watch television? Anybody know who Bill English is? Probate judge, Lee County. Why is that relevant? Because he and all the other probate judges are now embroiled in a great controversy as to whether or not, one, to issue same-sex marriage licenses, and two, to perform same-sex marriage ceremonies. And whether you like it or not, it may come into the workforce where the same-sex harassment is on the rise. Get used to it. Part of it. By the way, I got this stuff here from Vanderbilt University. I stole it. But in academic circles, as long as we cite our sources, is not plagiarism anymore. Kind of fun. I do that a lot. What are the victims like? Odds are they're female. Odds are they're young. Odds are they're single. What man in his right mind is going to harass a married woman? Why do we not tend to harass married women?
They have a married man somewhere.
They got husbands. Now, husbands generally take that kind of behavior unkindly. You know why? Goes back to medieval British law. Y'all know what a chattel is? A chattel is a piece of movable property. Real estate is property fixed to the ground. This building is real estate. Those desks are chattels. And in early British law, the wife and the children were chattels. They belonged to the manor, which meant that if you were the daddy, you owned them. That's why if you were having a war with the guy next door and he had a boy and you had a girl, you'd say, girl, go marry that boy next door and we will join our houses and have peace forever. And what did she say? Okay, Dad, I gotta do it, but I'm a chattel. Off she goes. That same thing follows through today. Very, very primordial. Single women are left to defend for themselves. Married women have a fallback defense. So as wild as these perpetrators are, they're generally not going to harass married people. Check that out. Trainees, told you. The people who are, what did we call them before?
Probationary.
Them, those folks, yeah, the probationary folks. Half of the female victims reporting workplace sexual harassment were trainees. Powerless. It's hard enough to get a job interview and get accepted and get hired. You don't want to lose it. There's not that many of them out there. Now look at the rise of men. 22% of the men, same sex. How many went to a University of Alabama? There was nobody raised their hand. Even a half. How many went to the University of Alabama? Okay, got some. Notice how they just raise their hand a little bit. I'm not talking about University of Alabama, except to tell you, for those of you that went to Alabama, same-sex harassment by males means that another guy is harassing him. Everybody got that? Just when you understand what same-sex was. There it is, 22% of men. Going too fast for you. There you go. Here's another problem with sexual harassment. Most of us who talk about it don't know what we're talking about. Really? We don't. Because it's got more definitions than the word law. Everybody understands law, L-A-W, the law? You all understand that? Well, what I want to ask you is that law state, federal, local? Is it a regulation that has the force of law? Is it statutory law? Or is it case law? Is it bench-made law? Is it theological law? What kind of law are you talking about? There's about 7 different definitions of law, and we were sitting back going, we know what we're talking about. Weird, isn't it? Same thing here. Submission to content. Sexual harassment is based on submission, conduct for the purpose of interfering with the workplace. It's hard to understand how to behave if you don't know what the definition is. another. I like this one right here, by the way. I really like this one because it cites it's the use of authority. I can have authority and not use it. But if I use it to emphasize sex or sexual identity or benefits or climate, they got me. I like that definition better than any of the rest of it. Verbal or physical. You don't have to physically touch someone to sexually abuse them. You can do it verbally. It's got to be unwanted. If I walk up to a woman in the workplace, give her a hug, she hugs me back, hey, I'm home free. That is not harassment. It's a mutual hug. Some people are huggers, some people are not. If I hug a woman who is not a hugger, that is harassment. How am I going to know? I let them make the first move. If she hugs me, I'll hug her back. You don't want any hug? I ain't hugging. That's it. Unwanted. You know, the real confusion comes in. Well, I used to date her, we went out together, we'd sit together, we'd hold hands, we'd do all kinds of things, then we broke up. The very conduct that she used to approve of, now she disapproves of, and if I try to repeat it, I'm guilty of harassment. Sounds depressing, doesn't it? Things to remember, it's a wide range of behaviors. Joking, flirting. It could be just, remember the guy standing in the back talking about that young lady who was, what they call her? A good-looking young lady sitting there by herself, and the two guys standing in the back. What did they say about her?
She was easy.
Yeah, oh, the easy something, something easy.
Something.
Yeah, she was a nympho, because Larry and George and Harvey all told me she was a nympho, therefore she is. What do you suppose Larry, George, and Harvey knew? You know, you get idiot advice from idiots. Behavior has to be deliberate. You don't have accidental sexual harassment. It's deliberate. You go out of your way to put it together. Not welcome, not asked for, and not returned. It's not mutual behavior. You know what you call mutual behavior? Nothing. Just two people getting along just fine. But if one of them is not getting along, then it's harassment. What do? You tell somebody that record they're talking about? In a court of law, that's called an anecdotal record, and that is a powerful document. You just take a little notebook and say, on March the 2nd, Larry came by and he patted me where he shouldn't have patted. Period. On March the 15th, he came by and looked me up and down. Those documents are powerful in a court of law, particularly if you've reported it. This is a very, very complex issue. I would also propose to you that there is a very simple solution in dealing with sexual harassment. And that's in the word respect. If respect exists between two people, then sexual harassment vanishes. Amazing. All that lead-in comment, unwanted, undesired, mutual benefit, blah, 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 comes down to respect. If you have it, there's no chance. Now, often we find, as you see on the screen, that truth is found in children. I want to show you what they're showing kids now. Not that you are, but I just want to show you what they're showing kids in terms of sexual harassment. Because there is some real truth in this thing. here somewhere.
Respecting me means doing something because you care, even when you may not.
That look like Wally?
Oh, okay. I understand this respect thing now. Well, since you understand, how could I have shown more respect in class today?
Oh, sure, didn't you listen? Duh. You should have told her you were gonna take the truck and
All right.
then take the truck.
Behave.
Well, maybe we don't understand it completely, we're just kids.
Yeah. I think we should
Ask the grown-up.
We can show respect by being polite to all of them. We can show respect by sharing with other students and also asking politely to give someone else a chance. You can show respect by helping a friend in need.
You can show respect by being kind to others.
You can show respect by listening to others and showing them a smile while they're talking.
Oh, now I understand. I should have shown more respect by waiting my turn to play with the fire truck.
Yeah, that's what you should have done. I think if I'm ever in that situation, that's what I'll do.
Thanks, babe, for helping me.
No problem. Like I said, I do know everything. You know, we should also think,
Oh, yeah.
the grown-up.
You know, it's amazing to me that we're beginning the education of children with messages like this. And perhaps those children will grow up in an environment of awareness where this issue in the workplace or in the school will be reduced. I don't know that it will, but that is certainly a worthwhile goal. In conclusion, like the kid says, don't just thank the grown-ups. For us, we've got to be the grown-up. Because we're the ones where it stops. Do you have any questions, comments, or observations on this general topic? Well, I would suggest, having seen no questions or comments, that I would certainly find a worthwhile activity to consume my time until the next speaker stands up. I want to thank you all very, very much.
All right, does anyone, can we go on to the next person, or we need? Charles, we need, staff to stay for the next two, and then y'all can, leave, so give us a few more minutes, of your time. Charles, you ready? Charles is ready.
Good morning.
Y'all, we would really like y'all to stay for the next two. Thanks for this information y'all need, but, okay, all right.
Everything I'm about to tell you was sent in an email a couple of days ago. Because you should have a Yale phone on your desk this morning. If you do not, I need to know. Okay, and then we'll get you one between now and Thursday. Thursday, probably around 10 o'clock, the existing phone system will be shut down. The new system will be brought online. They say it'll be a matter of minutes. I'm hoping I can get out of here Friday at quitting time of the new phone working. So, we've got to convert all the elevators, all the 911 dialing, machines, the bill magazine. Your phone, if it's on your desk, you should be able to use it now. You can only call people that have the new phones. Okay, we have one outgoing line, so you can make an outgoing call if you want, but you're competing with everybody else for that one circuit. Now, as of Thursday, we'll have 50 inbound, outbound lines. twice what we have now. So that should help, and you obviously have been getting busy signals when you're trying to dial out. Everybody that has a direct inbound number, you should have that same number, and that should work just the same. All the fax numbers will be the same, all the extensions will be the same. We exported numbers from our existing system and pushed them into the new system, and we found a lot of discontinued and abandoned circuits of people that had retired years and years and years ago. We simply did not delete their phones. I did the best I could removing those. I've also been through the list and tried to correct names. We had some generic names. I tried to put real names for those because that will play into the directory assistance feature that's in the system. I'm sure we'll still publish the paper document, but from your phone, there will be a directory. I forget the key sequence, but you should be able to look up somebody. We'll try to get those categorized. Not only can you look up Pam Jones, you can look her up from the financial aid subdirectory, blah, blah, blah kind of stuff. I'm really excited about the new phone system. As you know, we've struggled with the system we've had almost since we put it in. It has never performed the way we wanted it to. This new system is, again, light years ahead of what we got now. The big thing, though, just a little patience and tolerance and understanding. And as always, never assume I know anything. Okay, well, surely Charles knows my phone doesn't work. Don't assume that I know anything about your phone. Okay, if your name is misspelled, last name, last name, whatever, just let me know. Some of you are married since we exported. Divorced, changed names. I don't keep up with that. Okay, you've got to let me know. Okay, particularly since we'll start using the dial by name directory stuff. If your name is changed and somebody does not know you by your new name or your old name, they can't find you. Okay. The system has an auto attendant. Again, it's the press 1 for this, press 2 for that. Let me just apologize up front, but that was a decision that was made, and that's what we're doing. We've maxed out a couple of directories. There's a full 9 buttons on the opening menu. Most of those buttons go to sub-menus that have 5 or 6 buttons. There's some of you are 5 or 6 buttons away. So we are 5 or 6 buttons deep in the system. And again, I'm sorry. That's pretty much it. And again, if you did not get the email that talked about, there's some instructions on setting up your voicemail in that email. It's a phone. Pick it up, push the button, say hello. There are some instructions for setting up your voicemail, listening to your voicemail. You'll still be able to check your voicemail from off campus with that same number, 742-2999. It'll ask you for your voicemail box, which is your extension and your password. Right now, everybody's voicemail password is 1, 2, 3, 4. Change it. Or not, but you've been warned. Okay? Again, you can change it by hitting a web interface. You can access your telephone through your web browser and make changes there. You can create a personal family directory on that web interface that lives on your phone. That's not part of the college's directory. There's just lots of cool stuff out there.